thanks for participating. Thanks for playing with us.
Yeah.
All right, so I choose joy. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this philosophy, says that joy is the emotion that is excited by the expectancy of good. The expectancy of good. Not necessarily the good that already happened, right? That's a different mindset. That the emotion that is excited by the expectancy of good. For me, I think, an expectancy of good also requires me to believe in some kind of good coming my way, and it also requires a whole lot of trust in the power that is greater than I am. An expectancy of good comes because I trust the God of my understanding to come into my life and bring that good to me. So even though the idea of joy sounds really easy, sometimes it's not easy because it requires that level of expectancy. It requires belief. It requires trust. But we can do that, right?
Yeah.
We can trust. We can increase our trust all the time. But you know, I walk around the world and I see that there are a lot of people who don't experience joy. And it makes me sad. They don't experience joy. You know that there's some people who don't believe you're supposed to experience joy. They think that you're not somehow supposed to live a joyful life. You're supposed to live a life of suffering. Well, if that is hanging out in you from any place from the past, maybe today's the day to get rid of it. I don't believe in a God that wants any of us to suffer. I don't believe in a God that says, I'm going to put you here on earth and then tough luck. Squirm like a worm. I don't believe in a God that says, oh, I didn't know it. I believe in a God that expresses and wants to express joy through all of us. And so today we're just reminding ourselves that we have to choose it. It's not always easy, but it is definitely a choice. And for me, when I think of joy, a lot of times what it feels like is not something big and explosive, but it feels like an inner contentment. It feels like an inner contentment, almost like it tickles my tummy. When I see my little Bodhi dog, and I see her, I look at her, it's like, oh, what I feel is this joy inside. It's not a big, like, ah! This is a little tickle in my belly. Sometimes that's what it is. Now, sometimes it can be really big and explosive. This morning, when I walked in the room this morning, Brianne was so full of joy. She came up behind me and squealed with delight and gave me a big hug like she hasn't seen me in years. It's only been 6 days. I saw her last Sunday. So sometimes it comes in big packages and sometimes it comes in little packages. But what I hear most is that it's an inside job. Joy is an inside job. It's something we feel inside that wells up rather than a reaction to something outside. It's something that's in there. So I said we have choice. I remind myself of this all the time. You have choice, you know. Actually, I usually need to do it like this. You have choice, you know. You have choice, you know. Anybody else look at themselves in the mirror at home? Usually it's bigger than this. It's my bathroom. I often look at myself and I remind myself, you have choice in this matter. What do you want to see? So a really good tool. Walk into your bathroom mirror and look at yourself in the face and say, you have choice on how you see this. You have choice on how you respond to this. You have choice on how you feel about this. You have choice on how you want to create your life. You have choice. So I use it this way. A mirror is also really good because we're taught that our life is a mirror reflection. And so one of the ways that I know that I'm living joyful is that I see it reflected back to me. One of the ways that I know that I'm not being in a very joyful mode is the opposite. I see caca reflected back to me. You know what I really want to say, but I'll keep it nice. Look at our lives. Look at your life and say, what's coming back at me? Are people smiling at me? Are people helping me? Are people being really kind to me? Chances are, it means I'm living in a joyous place. It's the law of attraction. It's real simple, the law of attraction. So we can use that as a marker. See what's coming back. That's another way to understand the mirror. So if I was to ask you right now, what inner joy are you aware of? Carol gave you a few primers. Things like the aroma of the coffee for those of us who are coffee drinkers. Just getting up in the morning and choosing joy. Don't say anything out loud, but I'm going to pause for a second. What joy, what inner expectancy of good, what contentment, what trust, whatever words resonate with you. What can you be aware of right now? Anybody have something?
Being here.
Being here, thank you. So you don't have to even say it out loud. Just was everybody able to find something to feel joy about?
Yeah.
So you know that it's in you. You know that it's there already. And when you're having a non-joyous moment, you can tap into what you just thought about. Whatever thing or whatever feeling you just felt, next time you find yourself in a funk, call that to mind. Put it in your pocket and just pull it out. So now that becomes a tool for you to use, the thing that you just were aware of. What I know is that we're not victims in life. We are not victims in life. We are creators in life. Now, I'm not saying that people haven't been victims of bad things. That's not what I'm saying. That's kind of something else. That does happen. What I'm saying is in our general everyday life, we are not victims. We are creators in our life. Ernest Holmes says, nobody can rob us of our joy unless we let it. Let them. Nobody or no thing can rob us of our joy unless we let them. Well, gosh, how many times have I let them? How many times have I let somebody rob my joy? Or some situation rob my joy? If we're honest, we all say, wow, no, We can think of things, right? We don't want to beat ourselves up, but we do want to be aware that we're not victims, we're creators. Nobody can rob us of that joy unless we let them. So when I become aware that I've let somebody else rob my joy, it usually means because I'm blaming them or something. Think about that. I get robbed of my joy when somebody did or didn't do something. It's usually because I got my finger pointed at them. At that moment, I tell myself, no blame. We must stop blaming. If we want to move forward into a joyful life, we can't afford to blame other people, ever. You know why? You are powerless when you're in blame mode. Powerless. You can't change anything if it's somebody else's fault. I don't care what it is. And sometimes, boy, this is where the rubber hits the road. Sometimes it's so difficult. But it's still true. We must stop blaming other people or other situations if we want to be able to live with joy. I want to live with joy, and I want to be powerful. I don't want to be powerless. So you can just check in with yourself. Is there some situation that's robbing me of my joy? And is it perhaps because I'm blaming? And am I willing to let that go now so that I can come back to center and choose joy? We can ask ourselves, am I mostly creating drama and victimhood in my life? Or am I mostly creating joy and ease? You know for yourself. The really good news is we can change that. So if you find that you're creating more drama and more victimhood than you like, you can change your mind. That's what this whole philosophy is based on. Read it every day. Be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We can transform our mind, we can renew our mind, and we can reframe a situation if we're willing. We can reframe because whatever happens is just what happened. We're the ones who attach all the meaning. We attach the meaning, we attach the blame, we attach that stuff. Whatever happened is just whatever happened. Are you with me on that? I'm not saying this is always fun. I'm not saying this is always easy. But the awareness of, you have choice, you know. You have choice to be a victim to whatever's happening or to reframe it. So if you find that you're saying yes to any of these pieces, you can change your mind. You can reframe your perception. And that is where your power lies. That is totally where your power lies, being able to reframe that. I want to tell you a story a little bit of Siddhartha Gautama. Who knows what he became called? What? You know what I mean to say, right? What did he eventually get to be called? Buddha. Became called. That's a new one. The Buddha. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. So here's this man who was born into a princely